Is Jason? Justin?
We are back. Next thing on the agenda is 4C, adding Fridays to construction demo weekends at the transfer station. Infrastructure Committee recommendation. Councilor Ryder, can you explain this to the council and the public, please?
Yeah, this was brought up several meetings ago at the Infrastructure Committee. People had requested seeing if we could open up on Friday on all demo weekends, in hopes to alleviate a lot of the traffic on Saturday and Sundays. We thought if we could open on Friday, we might pick up some of the other people, so it wouldn't be quite as crowded on that Saturday and Sunday. So it was recommended by the committee to open it on Fridays, and I think if it passed, it would be April 1st. The first weekend in April, sorry.
Which is the second weekend.
Se-
I think, from-
Second and fourth, right? It would still be open Saturday and Sundays, it's just it would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now on those 2 weekends a month.
Public comment? Any public wish to make a comment? Anyone from the public wish to make a comment? Seeing none? Public comment closed. And what is the pleasure of the council?
We got a comment
Oh.
first, or no, after?
Counselor comments on it? Discussion?
Sure.
I just wanted to say, when we asked
Yep.
Chip, he said there was no extra cost. He didn't have to provide any more people on Friday to manage it, so.
Anyone else? Yes?
Um,
Councilor Soroy?
I
Or
think it would
Councilor
relieve
Shakespeare?
quite a bit of the congestion, especially in the springtime, on Saturdays and Sundays. I know I use it quite a bit, and it gets pretty precarious at times trying to back your truck or trailer up when basically every bay, every area is full, and I think it definitely would relieve a lot of the stress and pressure out there, just to try it anyways.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we add Fridays to the construction demo weekends at the transfer station.
Second?
During the C&D weekend only, right? Yep.
Only on the demo weekends only.
Right, demo weekend. Right. I'll second that.
Okay. It has been moved by Councilor Ryder, seconded by Councilor Shakespeare to add Fridays to construction demo weekends at the transfer station. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Swap shop passes. Infrastructure Committee recommendation. Councilor Ryder, can you explain this to the council and the public, please?
Yes, what this is we had a citizen call, run several group homes, own several in Hampden, which means they are a business, so they cannot get a transfer station decal, so they have a dumpster of their own. Some of their clients enjoy going to the swap shop and picking up odds and ends, but because they don't have a sticker, they can't get in. So we discussed it to see if we could come up with a piece of paper or whatever for a permit just to use the swap shop only. And it was kind of a general recommendation from infrastructure to try it and see how it worked for those individuals. And I would assume you would have to come to the town office to apply for that, right?
In order to get one, you'd have to come to the town office. It would be, as discussed at the Infrastructure Committee meeting, it would be a paper pass that would go on the dash of a vehicle. We would print them up here so that there's not the cost of stickers and all that kind of thing a paper pass that they could put on the vehicle. Many of these people don't have vehicles of their own. They're riding in vehicles provided by the home. So they would have to come in with whoever to get a pass and, prove that they actually did live in Hampden, and the same as anyone else who gets a pass to go there. Then they would have one, and it would be good for the balance of the year if it would just have to go in the dash of the vehicle that they traveled in. But it would not allow anything to be disposed of in anything there at all. It would only allow that person access to the bargain barn, swap shop, whatever you want to call the garage where people put things that still have useful life left.
Do any members of the public wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, public comment closed. What is the pleasure of the council? Motion?
I make a motion that we authorize Sue and the people in the front office to create some swap shop passes for residents who wish to visit the swap shop and do not otherwise have transfer station stickers.
I'll second that.
It has been moved by Councilor Lawless and seconded by Councilor Shakespeare to allow the town to issue swap shop passes to residents that do not have stickers for the transfer station. Any further discussion?
Councilor Ryder, I think, identified them as clients. I'd like to think of them more as residents, aren't they, Sue, of the facilities?
Well,
Don't they live there full-time?
I believe the letter we got referred to them as their clients.
Really?
But
Okay.
they live here.
They are residents, yeah,
Yeah.
of that facility, okay. Yeah, I don't see any harm in doing this. I think it's more or less goodwill from the town of Hampden to those residents that are in those facilities, and Lord knows they can probably use some of the stuff that they can find in there, and it's the least we can do.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Item 4E, diesel fuel tank replacement, recommendations of infrastructure and finance and administration committees. Councilor Ryder, I will let you explain this again to the council and the public, please.
Okay, Chip Swan, the Public Works Director, came to us. The diesel fuel tank at the town garage is aged. It's on the verge of springing a leak, so we need to replace that. He had some estimates from $10,000 to $11,000 for a replacement. They need to move the tank down a ways. We're going to have that, all that fuel goes out to bid, so we get a better price. And we're going to move the tank down so the Hampden Fire trucks can use that to get their fuel, so a savings for the town. So it was recommended by Infrastructure and then by the Finance Committee to put it out to bid not to exceed $15,000, and that money is going to come out of the town garage modification account.
Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this item? Public comment closed. What is the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion that we put out to bid the diesel fuel tank replacement at the Public Works garage. Not to exceed, what was it, 15 something?
15,000.
Yeah.
Second? It has been moved by Councilor Shakespeare and seconded by Councilor Ryder to put out to bid for the diesel fuel tank replacement not to exceed $15,000. All those in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Next on the agenda, item 4F, snow blower attachment for sidewalk trackless. Recommendations of Infrastructure and Finance and Administration Committees. Councilor Ryder, can you explain this to the council and the public, please?
Yes, the snow blower that goes on the machine that we use for the sidewalk is 10 to 12 years old. It's completely worn out. It's costing us thousands of dollars a year to keep it running. Chip Swan, the Public Works Director, recommended a new snow blower attachment for the front. The cost of that is $22,000. It would come out of the equipment reserve, and part of that reason is next year's budget was in there for a new trackless machine, which is $140,000. That machine doesn't have very many hours on it, and we're going to keep that machine and get a lot more use out of it. So the money for the snow blower would come out of that money that is set aside in the reserve for that machine. It was approved by the Infrastructure Committee and by Finance, recommended it to the council.
Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this item? Public comment closed. What is the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion that we purchase the new snow blower attachment for our sidewalk trackless machine for a purchase price of $22,000 to come out of the Equipment Reserve Fund.
Second.
It has been moved by Counselor Shakespeare, seconded by Counselor Soroy, to purchase the new snow blower attachment for $22,000 for next season, I believe. All those in favor?
Comment first.
Oh, comments? Counselor comments, sorry.
I just want to make a comment that during the discussion of the infrastructure meeting, Chip noted that this was the only company that sold this particular brand needed for this machine, and it wasn't something that we could put out to bid for other companies and other machines. And also Bangor, I think, had 3 of them, he said, something like that. And I don't know about Brewer, I think they had 1 or 2. But there was something that we didn't have. But the price of $22,000, I believe Chip said in the last 5 years we have spent that much alone in repair of the unit that's on there right now, and it's very unreliable. So this would be a good addition to that machine and well worth the money.
Thank you, Counselor Shakespeare. Counselor Brand.
Since we're in a situation where we have a sole source vendor for this piece of equipment, and it is in excess of the amount of money which we normally would send out to bid, I think you should include a waiver of the bid process in this motion so that Chip can move forward.
Do I need to
Amend your motion.
amend my motion to waive the bid process for this piece of equipment? Is that all I have to say here?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
and it needs to be seconded.
Seconded.
By the person who seconded in the first place.
Who is that?
Second.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, it has been moved by Counselor Shakespeare, seconded by Counselor Soroy, that we purchase the snow blower attachment for the sidewalk trackless, waiving the bid process because there are no other vendors that sell this. All those in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. And again, home backyard composters, recommendation of Infrastructure and Finance Administration Committee, Counselor Ryder.
The home backyard composters has been available for a while. It's for people to come in and want to do their own composting, and saves us on trash at the transfer station. Cost the town $48, and the public pays half of that, $24. It was recommended by Infrastructure and Finance to make that available to the public.
Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this item? Public comment closed. What is the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion that again this year, the town sponsor and make available home backyard composters to people in the town.
Do I have a
Second.
Second. It has been moved by Counselor Lawless, seconded by Counselor Ryder, to continue the home backyard composter program. Is there any discussion? Okay. Counselor Brand?
You were first. Go ahead.
That was first.
Yeah.
Well, Councilor Lawless didn't include in the motion that paying half of the cost of the composting equipment, which is fine. I'm perfectly happy not paying that expense and allowing, requiring people to purchase it at full price.
I'd like to amend my motion that the town pick up half of the cost of the composters. This is a state program. The composters, if you were to go online and search for them, sell for $100. We get them from the state for $48 and pick up $24 of the cost. So it's a really good deal for residents, and it's not very expensive for the town. I think Sue estimated the cost of the program to be $500. I don't think anyone's estimated the savings, but I know I compost a lot of household, material in my compost bin. So, I made a little speech, not just a motion, but.
Second.
Counselor Shakespeare, did you have a comment?
I'm going to request if Sue could kind of update. She did a lot of updating at the meeting, but if she could update the public on when this program started and how many we have basically provided the public over the last, few years anyways, maybe 5 years that I know of.
It's now 2014, and the landfill closed in 2010. And they were, for that year and the year prior to that, the landfill subsidized 50% of the cost of the composters. And in the year since then, the town has done that. In the first several years when the town was doing this, there were much larger numbers of people. That, as we've advertised every year for interested persons, has gone down to where we're purchasing approximately 20 of them on an annual basis. But over the course of those years, there have been several hundred that have been purchased that are sprouting like little Darth Vader helmets all over Hampden, because that's what they look like. They look like a Darth Vader helmet. And when you see those around, they generally have, here in Hampden, they've come from that program.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes, Counselor Brand.
Yeah, I just want to say I can't support the modified motion because we are constantly hear from council members that we have to not subsidize private individuals with town money, and this subsidy of $24 to me under those guidelines is a problem. And the other thing I was wondering about is, and typically we've had problem meeting our tipping quota with PERC in order to maintain our refund that we get from PERC. And even though it looks like a good idea, every time we go out and we add on additional partially at town expense, composting machines or composting units, we're also reducing the amount of material that ends up at the transfer station, which makes it more difficult for us to meet tipping quotas. And so there's a double expense that could be built in there. And for that reason, I won't be supporting the motion.
This is a, if I may speak, this is a relatively small subsidy. And if we were to argue that the people who use services should pay for them, then we would double the cost of ridership on the bus. We would make the expense of belonging to the library prohibitive for most people. We would double the cost of using the swimming pool, and your stickers for the transfer station would cost $200 or $150. So I don't think anyone is proposing that. And I think this small subsidy for this program, given that it encourages long-term habits which will serve the town well when we're no longer under contract for those tipping fees. I think this is well justified.
Is there any further discussion? Yes, Counselor Shakespeare.
This is where Tom and I do disagree on certain things, and we can still remain friends even though we disagree on this. And I think this is a good program for the public, and like Councilor Lawless said, we do subsidize a lot of things, even though a lot of the public disagree and don't want us to. That's just part of the town process and part of what we're here for, to help out certain citizens. And I'm going to vote for it, of course.
Is there any further discussion? All right, it has been moved by Counselor Lawless, seconded by Counselor Ryder, to continue the home backyard compost program with the town paying half of the fee of the composters. All those in favor? Opposed? 4-2, motion carries. Next item on the agenda. Item 4H, videotaping of all public meetings. People's
Excuse me?
referendum. Yes.
Madam Mayor, I have a problem with this item in its appropriateness on the agenda. The town charter provides a methodology by which the public can start a referendum, and this this is not included in that process. It does not say anywhere in the town charter that you must come to and notify the town council, that you threaten the town council with submitting a referendum. You simply do it because you feel strongly that way. There is an exact procedure which does not involve the council, and I think any discussion of this particular item circumvents that process. And the process has been there since the town of Hampden was first chartered. And I think this individual is very welcome, and I'm not trying to discourage him from doing the referendum. I just think this is an inappropriate way to initiate the process. The process should be initiated as prescribed in the town charter.
Thank you.
Yeah, a citizen has a right to request something on the agenda, so if they want to discuss it, that's certainly their right to do so.
Again, I'm not denying that people have a right to put things there, but this is the beginning of circumventing a process which is already in place.
Okay, your objection is noted. Thank you. The chair recognizes Brian Dupre. And does any member of the public wish to comment on this item?
You gotta wait till I'm done.
Okay, I'll wait till you're done.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Sorry.
And I like seeing everybody get along tonight. It was nice. A lot of the work that was done tonight was done in committees. That's why it worked so smoothly tonight. A committee process that the public can't see at home. Madam Mayor, I'm Brian Dupre, I live in Monroe Road. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address the council today. I come to you as a representative of a constituency that demands transparency and openness in local, state, and federal government. I represent many people in this town that are elderly and cannot make it to a council or a committee meeting. There are also people like me that have a disability that do not like to embarrass themselves in public with a committee process that routinely violates the Americans with Disabilities Act. Citizens currently watch council proceedings at home thanks to this awesome technology that we have with cable TV and live internet broadcasting. These citizens should be able to access council and public committee meetings, as well as school board meetings from the comfort of their living room if they so choose. We have this technology. Why not use it to keep the public informed? The only negative comment that I've heard so far is from a member of the public that thinks business owners may not come testify in front of a committee because they don't want to divulge things in a public setting. Since when has this council put the needs of business owners ahead of the public? The richest business owner in Hampden should have no more rights than the poorest citizen with regards to transparency and local government. The question arose last week regarding will I be asking for this in all the towns that I represent, and the answer is yes. All my constituents deserve to have an open and transparent government. Since I feel that the council is not acting in the best interest of my constituency, I have started the process for a citizen petition drive to enact a charter change requiring the videotaping of archiving on the town website of all committees and school board meetings. I led a citizen petition 12 years ago very successfully in Hampden, which is the way we currently enact school budgets. I only need 551 signatures, which I could have by the end of the weekend. My purpose today is to ask the council to vote on this issue, up or down. Since there has not yet been a vote on this issue during a council meeting, I want the council to first have a chance to reject the idea on record before I move forward. A local citizens group has contracted with someone to record and post online all committee meetings anyway, so it's already being done and edited by a third party. Wouldn't the council want to ensure that all public comments recorded are not taken out of context and edited against the council's wishes? Mayor Dupre has agreed to start and stop the recordings for committee meetings, which will mean there will be no cost to the taxpayers to do this. I thank you for your time.
Now, are there any members of the public who wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, public comment closed. What is the pleasure of the council? Councilor Brand.
When you were on vacation at the last town council meeting, the town council did address the issue of recording, videotaping committee meetings and discussed extensively the value of videotaping and audio taping. And at the end of that, a motion was made, which is part of the minutes, in which the council decided or recommended, decided that videotaping would not be done and audio taping would.
That discussion was actually before I left, and that was in committee.
No, we did it at the last council meeting. You weren't here.
It was for videotaping or audio taping? Because out of
The
committee...
discussion was videotaping and audio taping. The councilors who attended the meeting, after a long discussion, decided to audio tape but not videotape workshop meetings or committee meetings.
I was at the committee meeting. I will review the council meeting, but I was at the committee meeting. The recommendation, there were two recommendations that went forward to the council, to audio tape or to leave it as it was, I believe. Those were the two recommendations.
The recommendation came that way. The motions and discussion involved around both audio taping and videotaping. The only motion that survived the process was to audio tape only.
Okay, thank you. Go
The
ahead.
information provided at last week's meeting, I think, included the motion, which was to basically leave things the way they were, but have the sound quality improved for people who had difficulty hearing in this environment. The second, which was to provide an audio tape for each. And it was also noted that a third motion was made to videotape, which did not receive a second. So I think the council had at the council meeting, had those three, exactly what happened in the committee meeting. So it was reflected there.
Okay, did you have a question or a comment, Councilor Shakespeare? No?
So,
So what is the pleasure of the council? Does anyone wish to make a motion or? No? Okay. So this item is closed. Thank you, Representative Dupre. Committee reports. Services and Communications Committee, Councilor Lawless.
we'll be meeting this coming Monday. There are a number of candidates who are coming in who want to serve on the Recreation committee, so it's a good chance to, meet people and, talk about recreation. I think we'll hear some other reports. I think in April, we're going to get an accounting of how the finances of the ski-in center are going. So the April meeting will be particularly interesting. So come, 6 o'clock here on Monday. And we'll be audio taped, maybe videotaped, but come here if you want to have your voice heard or have a chance to participate.
Thank you, Counselor Lawless. Infrastructure Committee, Counselor Ryder.
Well, you've pretty much heard everything that took place in infrastructure at the last meeting tonight. The only other things that were discussed, to my knowledge, was we talked about looking into having some wood harvested up where we plan on having a business park someday. And me and Chip Swan and Gretchen Hellman are going to look into that to see if it's feasible. The other thing is, it was recommended to increase the fees for the dump sticker from $5 to $20. There was, I think, 4 to 2 in favor of that. I was one of the 2. So that will be on the next council agenda. And we don't meet again until the end of the month. Thank you.
Okay, Planning and Development, Counselor Soroy.
We talked about the 2 major events or topics that are going on right now during this council meeting tonight, the marina parking lot, as well as public access along Route 202. There's also discussion, will be discussed probably in the next town council meeting, about the continued development and expansion of the industrial park, but more to come on that, and that's it.
In Finance and Administration, that is me. We discussed the diesel fuel tank replacement, which you heard about, and the snow blower attachment, and that was about it. Manager's report. Manager Lassard.
Effective February 28th, the town roads were posted for heavy load limits until further notice, unless the roads are frozen, and given the forecast for the week, I don't think we have anyone who should be worried about whether they can take a heavy vehicle over a road, because with record cold predicted for the next week, I think we'll be safe. However, the roads, if you'll note, you've noted, already have started in some places to really deteriorate, and so it won't take long once it's not 10 below for them to deteriorate further. 30-day notices of sewer liens will be sent for unpaid bills from the second and third quarter of 2013. We'll be sending those out on March 13th, and Councilor Lawless has already noted that services meets next Monday here, and that there are a number of people who have applied for a membership on the rec committee, and we'll endeavor to have as many of them as possible attend so the committee can meet them all and discuss their interest in this committee, and that's it.
Thank you, Manager Lassard. Counselor comments? I'd like to remind counselors, I'll not allow counselors to speak negatively about someone who is not in the audience to defend themselves. If negative comments are made about anyone in the audience or on the council, I'll allow that person a chance to defend themselves. And we will start with Counselor Shakespeare.
Well, it's not going to be negative comments. I've spoken in the past about Hannibal Hamlin, and many of you know he was Abe Lincoln's vice president, and he lived in Hampden for an extended period of time, actually where Dunkin' Donuts is right now, and his little office was where the Chinese restaurant is now, basically, and is now up at the Historic Society. But I'll bet many of you in this room and the public do not know, and I was reading some history about him, he was actually, it says, on the Hampden Town Council at one time. So that's an interesting bit of trivia for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Shakespeare. Counselor Lawless.
I'd like to throw out a challenge to get 2 more council members to sign up for our bowling team. I would tell you, you won't be embarrassed, because when I bowled with my kids, we put little bumper things in the gutters, because I had a lot of trouble getting the ball down to the end. So if I'll do it, you can do it.
Thank you, Counselor Brand.
Nothing.
And Counselor Ryder?
Well, usually I don't have much to say, but I want to congratulate the Hampden Academy boys on a great season this year. Unfortunately, they came up a little short, but I think they had an excellent season, and I've heard nothing but very good about that team of boys. On the other side of that, I'm not too pleased with the Maine Principals Association that they scheduled that, so we could not see that on TV. Unless we had cable TV, which I'm not happy with, that it's not available to every citizen in the town of Hampden. So it didn't really work out well for every citizen in Hampden. And that's my negative statement for today.
Thank you. And Counselor Soroy?
Nothing.
Okay, and my comments, I would also like to congratulate the Hampden Broncos boys basketball team. And I was very impressed with their 43 straight victories. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second? Meeting adjourned.